Hey, folks, welcome back to another episode of Artist Stories of Middle Georgia. I'm your host, Victor Rigoli, and I have a wonderful guest with me today, an artist that's in the Macon, Georgia area, Joe Adams. Joe, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, and thank you for having me, Victor.
Yeah, I want to share with everybody a little bio on you.
Okay.
Making and building since you were small. Joe is a natural born artist. Just after college and a brief stint as an art teacher, he put down his paintbrush to build a business career and raise a family. Yet his love for art remained constant. Evelyn, his wife and most ardent agent, urged him to start painting again about 30 years ago. Continuing his passion, he now paints from his studio in a historic 1890 Victoria house in downtown Macon. He credits much of his artistic influence to his time away from the easel, whether traveling or advocating for historic preservation, and to following the work of other artists. A Macon, Georgia native and graduate of Mercer University with a double major in art and biology, Joe taught at the Youth Development Center in Macon and then at Robbins Elementary on Robbins Air Force Base, Robbins. An abstract expressionist painter at heart, his recent work is more characteristic of action painting, never shying away from bright color and unexpected textures and layers. Joe is a process oriented painter. He is not concerned with recreating the world, but instead with the qualities of the paint and the manner in which it is applied. Paint splashes, richly diverse color, and layer textures are definitive qualities of a Joe Adams painting. Joe has exhibited work throughout the Southeast and is currently represented by several galleries. He has been featured as an emerging artist at Museum of Arts and Sciences in Macon, and his diverse appeal lends his work to show in houses in Southeast and private and corporate collections across the United States and abroad. So, welcome again, Joe, to the podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, such a vast background there. Kind of interesting that you put your paintbrushes down and then you pick them back up and been going again. So that's great. And I want to hear a little bit more about this 1890 Victorian house that you live in and all about that. So I've seen some pictures. You sent some, but then I saw some, I guess, on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. It looks like, where you paint and your studio. And I thought, oh, wow, that's got to be amazing to be able to have something like that, so rich with history and everything. So, but anyway, Joe, where does your artist story begin?
Of course, just like so many other people, as a youth in elementary school or grammar school.
Yeah. I remember elementary school and,
I went to Whittle School, which is a historic uh, building now, and a law
okay.
just a few blocks away from my studio. But we had a fabulous principal, Sarah McElroy, and her
Okay.
sister was the art teacher for Bibb County.
Oh, wow.
But that was the highlight every time she came, the art instructor. We didn't have much,
Right.
but uh, I think all of my teachers recognized the talent in me, and I was always selected to do some special things uh, throughout the elementary school age. Of course, then when you get to junior high and high school, there's nothing. What was nothing
Right.
at the time.
Yeah.
That linear.
Yeah. Okay. So you were in high school. What time period was that when you were in high school?
Ooh, you're gonna tell
Not
my
not not to not
this
to, let people know how old you are, but I was just curious as to what the time
this
period was.
yeah.
Okay, but yeah, back then art probably wasn't that big of a on the agenda for the Bibb County public school system,
Right.
back in the day. So yeah, that could be kind of challenging. So, what made you pursue art in college at Mercer University?
I had no intentions of doing that.
Uh
Uh,
huh.
I always thought I would be a history major, and not knowing what I would ever do with that, because I love history. And so I decided to go over to the art department and talk to the chairman. and took a class. Actually, I was the first, not the first, one of five, only five, first people that could major in art.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I did decide to do a double major, the biology and art, and a minor in education.
Okay.
Hopefully get a job in education, which I did.
Right, right.
And the reason for the double major, you've had somebody on the program who was a medical illustrator.
Yes,
And
sure
that's
did.
my plan. I had
Yeah.
two fraternity brothers who had gone to medical illustration school.
Okay.
And I thought I might follow their footsteps. But when I saw their portfolio and I saw what I was producing, I thought, this is not the path for me.
Yeah.
Because they're doing this and I'm doing this.
Right.
And it just, I didn't think it was going to work. So
Yeah.
I still did the, well, I do think my paintings are organic, a lot of them anyway. And I did get a lot from the biology, and I really loved it, especially the botany.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. So you go off and you teach for a while there. Teaching art in the elementary school?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. What did you enjoy about that? What was
Well,
or did you enjoy teaching art?
Yeah.
I mean, you ask some teachers, and they said, well, it's a job and it's something to pay the bills, and whether I'm real passionate about it or not, that's another story. But yeah.
The great thing about both of those places was one was a state job, but I had a very good budget. I could buy potter's wheels, all sorts. I had a kiln. I had endless supplies, and it was good for the girls. It really was. But I started feeling like I was incarcerated.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I guess that happens sometimes in that sort of a situation. I felt like I was in prison. And so I heard about a job at Robbins,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a federal job. And the person was leaving is the one that told me, the artist that was leaving. And she said, you need to apply for this job, and which I did. So I did enjoy that, and the kids were great. Air Force kids were just great. And a lot of talent. I taught kindergarten through 6th grade.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I was going to ask you, what was the age group, Yeah.
Yeah. But I think after that, they went into the public schools. They all go into the public schools now. Those schools are closed.
Right. I think so, yeah.
Or they're public if they are there.
I think they're all public now. Yeah, because I know that some people that are in the military and some live on base, but their kids go to, house and county schools.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. But the big problem was trying to pay the bills.
Right.
On a teacher's salary.
Yeah.
My wife was working in education, and even with the combined education, teaching jobs, I was working nights at the mall. I was working weekends. Sometimes I was teaching classes, some for the big recreation center. I taught Upward Bound at Mercer. Always anything we could do. We had a child, and so a beautiful child, I must say. And we wanted to be there for her.
Right.
So, and I wanted Evelyn home with her, and she wanted to be home with her. And so Evelyn did get a job later on in a teaching position. so that she was home when our daughter Amy was home.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So I had been trying to find a job for quite a while. And as the saying goes, nobody wants to hire a teacher for some reason. And it's a huge mistake. Teachers are people.
That's right. That's right.
At working with the public and in sales than a teacher. And so many just didn't get it. And my wife had encouraged me that I needed to go into real estate. And it was a natural fit. My love of homes and architecture. When we would go on vacations, we would look at houses. That's all we wanted to do. That's all I wanted to do. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
I want to go see houses and architecture and art and all of that. I really love man-made things. I love nature, but I really love man-made things.
Right.
Human-made things.
So did you spend a lot of time in real estate? Because when I saw you on Facebook and saw your photos and stuff of you personally, I said, I know him from somewhere. Our paths have probably crossed, or I've seen you in public, or just, it could have been through real estate associates or something, or just, common friends or whatever. But you look so familiar that, and maybe it's just that you've been around in the Middle Georgia area for a long time, and Macon's a big small town, and if you stay here, go to school here, and don't leave, you're gonna know most everybody.
I know so many. But real estate wasn't really what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to see all these beautiful houses, which it wasn't. A lot of them weren't beautiful, but I always say I went into real estate for the wrong reason, but I stayed in it for the right reason. I went in it basically for the money. I stayed in it for the people. I found out that real estate wasn't about real estate, it was about people.
Right.
And I have long time friends that I've made through real estate and selling them houses repeatedly. And I just loved it. I loved it a lot. I loved it more than teaching, actually. Of course, it
really
was good. It enabled us to do some things that we could not have done for our daughter. So that was the good thing about it. But along the way, and I don't recall how long I did not paint. And I can't really recall when I started back painting. But there again, Evelyn would, my biggest fan, would buy me things like for Christmas, art supplies and things. And I don't think I ever picked them up. I don't know that I ever did anything with them. But she kept encouraging, you need to get back painting. You need to get back painting. Not leave real estate, but just And what I always said was, I just can't work in my home because I'm so messy. Something on the floor, it's going to stay there until I need it. I have paint all over the floor in my studio, and I sling paint. I'm just messy. I'm a messy painter. The sink is horrendous. So we bought a house. We bought like 12 houses, moved around it as a real estate agent. And all of them were historic. Many needed restoring.
Right.
And we had some really beautiful houses. Right now we live in a loft. We bought a condominium loft in downtown Macon, which is 2 blocks from my studio. And this studio, though, came later. But every time we would buy a house, there would be some place for me to paint. And I got very active in painting But also, I started very early in marketing my art.
Oh, okay.
It was
Yeah.
not, I was like, I, I can't just fill my house up with paintings.
Right. Right.
I've got to sell them. Plus, art supplies are expensive.
They are. They are
They are
not
very,
cheap.
people
Yeah.
don't realize how expensive
That's right.
supplies are. And so uh, I'm going to attribute my really beginning of getting some help with Catherine Walden. She is an interior designer. And then another person, Need Good, who's no longer with us, who both of those people helped me break into the market.
Mm.
Kathy had connections with Capricorn and some of those people. And so I started, well, there again, it was my wife who said, you need to contact decorators. You really need to present your art to them. And that's hard to do.
Right.
But she could do it better than me. It's hard for an artist to try and sell their own art, although I'm much better at it than I used to be.
Right. Right.
So that's how we started. And then when Instagram and Facebook came along, oh my gosh, that just changed everything for me. I did not like having a website. Too hard to keep up.
Right. Right.
With the inventory. Very, very difficult. I will not have a website.
Yeah.
I Instagram and Facebook, and then I started having some shows. I think I was the first one to have, I'm not sure, the first one to have a show at Macon Arts.
Oh, okay.
When they were in their location on Cherry Street. And I've had several since then. And I have one coming up on August the 7th. I am a participant in a group show. I don't know French. I try really hard.
Gotcha.
Joy, I got it written down. Debris, of course I know debris. Joy, debris. And that is some work that I have thoroughly enjoyed. I have 4 pieces going into that show. And it is basically found materials. And I like building things. I consider that I do that when I'm painting also. Even though it's not found things, I build it.
Right. Right.
But this show is about really building. I have a piece of plywood that has been rotting away for about 8 years in our parking lot. Every time I'd see it, I'd want to pick it up, put it in my car, but it would have rained and it'd be soaking wet. So I wait, hopefully, till it dries, and then I finally got it, and it's in one of the paintings, and it.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's a curated piece of plywood with collage. That's the other thing I love. I love collage. Matter of fact, I love making things. I texted my wife and I said, you know those big clear cylinder vases that we have that are tall? And I couldn't find them. She said she found them. And I have brought them to the studio today. And I am going to, the word to use for that would be decoupage.
Okay.
To decoupage the inside of these vases with cutouts of Picasso faces.
Wow.
And I've done that before with birds and flowers, but it was probably 40 years ago.
Right. Right.
And so it will be a flower vase, but it will be all decorated with Picasso. And I have a lot of pictures. I have an old book that had Picasso prints in it. And so it's going to be great.
Wow. Wow.
And
Now that's at Macon Arts Alliance, right? On August the 7th.
so it's I've just always made things. I've done faux finishes on so many of our houses, faux marbling, faux granite,
Right.
just all sorts of in the art field.
Yeah. So that show is at the Macon Arts Alliance, correct?
Clients on the August.
Yeah. On the 7th. Okay. And that's part of the first Friday when I guess it opens up, right? Okay.
It's first Friday.
All right. I'll have to put it on my calendar and do my best to come down and or come up because I'm in Warner Robins, so I'll come up to Macon and check out the show and see the other artwork there and everything, and actually get to meet you in person and everything, which would be wonderful. What do you find the most challenging in creating the art that you create?
Hard question for me. Challenging. I've got lots of time. It's not time. I've got a great studio. That's not a problem. My art is selling. That's not a problem. I'm able to buy art supplies because of that. And I'm always experimenting. If I'm all over the place, not sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. But when you look back on a lot of artists, they do the same thing. Picasso was all over the place.
Right.
He's my hero. We even named a cat Picasso. I don't understand people who say they're an artist. I don't know, who do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over.
Right.
I mean, you've seen one, you've seen another, you've seen them, you've seen them, you've seen them.
Right.
I don't understand that. I'm always constantly wanting to grow, wanting to experiment with new materials. These oil sticks are just wonderful. That are relatively new, I guess. All kinds of sorts of markers, and there's just so many things out there that I see that, oh, I want to try that. I want to try
Right.
that. So I guess I can't do it. I can't do it all. Maybe that would be it.
Yeah, that might be, a challenge. Your mind's going and thinking of all these things you could do, but it's just being able to fit it in with, and you have time, but then sometimes it's hard to manage the time to focus in on some of those things,
Yep.
and so because you got other projects going on, you got to prep for a show, you got these things going on, but yet that inner creativity of you is just yearning to come out, and yet I got to focus my time over here right now.
I have commissions too. That I've got one right now. I haven't even started. Well, the main reason is I don't have that particular size canvas that we need. I've got to get that canvas.
Yeah.
What was the question you had?
I was just talking about challenges that you might face, Yeah. Just different challenges.
I guess I could fit it all in if I stayed at my studio all day, every day, but I don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't like to get up early. This was good.
Okay. I was up about 3:30 this morning, so I just woke up and I just said, hey, I can't get back to sleep, so I just come on up to the studio and start doing something. Now I'll probably crash around noon today, because I've been up for 8 hours, but that's the beauty of being retired. And my wife still works, and so if I get sleepy, I'll just lay down and take a nap, so
guess what, I have a recliner.
Oh man, yeah.
I can take a nap if I want.
Yeah, you know Eric Odell.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you been to his studio there on Cherry?
I have not.
Oh, you need to get in touch with Eric and go see his studio, because I interviewed him on the podcast. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Yeah.
And I did a tour of his studio, and he's got like what I call the lounge area. He's got a little couch and some chairs, and it's kind of off to the side. And so it's just a place, if you just want to kick back, maybe read a magazine or just relax, watch something on TV or whatever. And I love that. I used to have in my studio, because it was a bedroom too at one time, and my middle child moved out, so I moved all the bedroom furniture up here down there, and so I don't have that bed, because I would just go and lay down. It was almost like Van Gogh's room that he had, and you've seen paintings of,
Yes.
the bed and dresser and all that, and I had that up here, and so yeah, it's I'll just lay on the floor sometimes, take a nap.
Tell you
I
about
don't care. Yeah.
I have to admit, this was a brilliant idea on my part. This two-story Victorian came up. It's on Washington Avenue, which is the same street that the library is on. Washington Avenue starts out as Poplar, then becomes Washington Avenue, then becomes Hardeman Avenue.
That's right.
Welcome to Macon.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. That's Macon, Georgia.
And so I'm on the Washington Avenue part.
You're in that Washington Avenue block. Yeah.
Washington. It's named for a Washington that was the mayor of Macon. So anyway, sidetrack. This house has large windows, high ceilings. I am on the first floor, and we're right now in my living room, as you call it, gallery. I have a sofa, I have a table, I have chairs, I have lamps, I have a way to display art in this room, although there are 4 windows that really make it a little more difficult, 4 large
Right.
difficult. I have a little foyer out front where I can also display art. Then I have another room that is a real junk room where I have tables and a desk and where I can work flat, especially like collage work.
Right.
And things like that. Then the very back room is the painting room, where I have several easels. So I can't have more than one work going at the time. And I can hang things, oil sticks. One thing I don't like about them is the dry time.
Right.
It can take a while for them to dry. Right now I need one. I need them to dry so I can get them to where they need to go.
Right. Now, do you use a variety of mediums, don't you? I mean, you talked about using oils, but do you do acrylic work as well, and you watercolor and?
Don't use any oil paint.
Oh, no oil paint? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I use the oil sticks on top of the acrylic.
Oh, okay.
So the acrylic shows, a lot of the oil sticks are translucent or transparent, and they also blend with the color that's behind them.
Right.
Very interesting what you can do with them. And then I know it's mixing oil and water, but I've had some paintings that I just didn't like how they were going. And it had acrylic, and then I did some oil sticks. They were called oil pastels back then, but I had some of the big ones. And I just went all over, and it sort of mixed them together. It not blended, but they were there together. And this particular painting, which is in our loft, that I'm referring to, I do it. I'm probably going to do that today to a painting that I don't like how it's going. I took it outside and hosed it down.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And this is a 48 by 60.
Wow.
Pretty good size painting.
That is big, yeah.
I just hosed it down, and I just love the effect. Some of the acrylic paints had not dried. Right. They just flew off. The ones that had dried sticked. The oil sticks all sort of stayed on.
Right.
It was an interesting, very interesting effect. I can't remember, but I probably let it dry and bring it back into the studio and probably worked on it again. But the overall effect, I could not do it again because I don't know how I did it. Many times people will say to me, "Oh, I'd like to, can you do me one like that?" And I'm going, I don't even know how I did it.
That was an accident, but don't tell anybody.
Reproduce it because
Yeah.
it evolves.
Right.
It
Right.
evolves, and I don't know how. I would have to video the whole thing.
Yeah.
To know how I did it. And then I still probably couldn't do it again.
Right. It reminds me with acrylic pouring because each painting's going to be different. I mean, it's not going to flow the same way every time, Yeah. So yeah,
Well,
that's neat.
The other part of my brilliant idea, though, sorry, I'm real bad about interrupting people. ADD, I think we all
That's a common trait us artists have.
Artists have it, and I have dyslexia.
Wow.
I have an Airbnb upstairs that pays the rent, so to speak. So that's how I'm able to have this nice studio. It's because of the Airbnb.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Now, you talked about Picasso. Are there other artists that inspire you?
The list.
Uh-huh. Go down your list. You got your list? Go down your list.
Because I knew you were going to ask that question.
Uh-huh.
Jackson Pollock.
Mm-hmm.
Willem de Kooning. Joan Mitchell. Franz Klein. Robert Motherwell. Amadeo Modigliani. This is a Modigliani. Of course, Picasso. And there is a local artist that really influenced a lot of my work, who sadly is no longer alive, and she was fabulous. Beverly Buchanan was her name, and she did a lot of this. Well, she was really famous for her shotgun houses that she painted with pastels or did them in clay. And I've seen some of those come up for auction. And they're
really
money. But she was from Macon. I never met her, only saw her work. And she influenced me a lot in my scribbles. Because there's scribble in my work somewhere.
Yeah.
And I even did a show called Scribbling. And I did another show. It was for a gallery that's no longer here. And it was called Modigliani Remix. And I saw on one of your, is it a podcast or broadcast?
Podcast interviews, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where people copy other artists.
Right.
Well, I did Modigliani. This is Modigliani type work. Elongated faces and necks, mostly women, and some nudes. I did a reclining nude, but I call it a remix. It was my interpretation. I did not try to copy.
Right.
I copied somewhat the outline and so forth, but then it was done my way.
Right.
With my materials. And it was a sold out show.
Wow.
They were smaller and more affordable. And they were and framed beautifully. So that was a good show. And I enjoyed doing those. And they were mostly done with oil pastels over acrylic.
Okay. Okay. Now, I want to bring in some of your artwork, okay? So that folks can see your work. I mean, I see a big piece right over your right shoulder, I guess it is there. Yeah. I don't know if that's in one of the slides or not, but we'll see. Okay. But you do large pieces, pretty much. Wouldn't you say
Well,
that's kind of larger size
oh yeah.
canvases and stuff?
Well,
Yeah.
those-
Yeah. Because there's a lot of movement and yeah.
I mean, you can't do
You
that
can't
on.
do that on a 8x10 or 9x12 or whatever, right? Or even 16x20. So you got to have room.
People. It's going to be the faces.
Right. Right. Okay. All right.
Yeah. And those are really popular, the faces.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So,
Those are typical of my work, yes.
okay. Let's just talk about these here. Let's talk about the one on the left first.
Okay.
How big is that piece?
I think that one's 36 by 48.
Okay.
If not, it's 30 by 40.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. What's the inspiration behind this? Is there a story behind it or inspiration behind creating this piece?
So often what inspires you and I read this quote. If I could say it in words, I would not paint. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yeah. Yeah.
So I can't tell you what inspired me because it's a process. So sometimes I may want to limit to a color palette or I don't know. It just evolves. And I end up going back and forth. Lots of times I will leave the studio and think a painting is finished, and I'll come back the next day and say, oh. I also take a photograph of the painting, and that's a good way to study the painting, to see what you need to do with it next. It's better than looking at it in person to me.
Right.
Especially if you've got the black background around it, and like those are, that helps a lot.
Do you start with maybe toning your canvas before you get going, or it just kind of flows and then?
I start with a white canvas.
Okay.
Generally, sometimes I will gray down or make it not so white because a lot of paintings actually the white canvas is part of the painting that has no paint on it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And I guess the one on the right's kind of the same way.
Yep.
It just kind of evolved and
Yes.
whatever mood or what was going on in your environment at the time kind of shows up in the colors and the brush strokes or the I say brush strokes.
Sam Hutto, who was my art instructor at Mercer, painting instructor, I should say, said I was a colorist.
Okay. Yeah.
Of course, I've evolved a lot since then, but he had an influence on me too because I liked his work.
Yeah.
He was a abstract expressionist also, and so I loved his work.
Yeah. Good. Now these two are a little different from the ones we just looked at. So
the one on the right is most recent.
Okay.
There again, sort of influenced by a lot by Modigliani.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a totally, I gotta look close to see it, made up. A made up face. It wasn't someone who I was painting. Both of those are the same.
So it just came from your inner self. Yeah.
Sometimes I will. Oh, let me go back to that about what influences me. Okay. One thing is other artists other artists' work. I'm always looking at other artists' work and what they're doing. And that will get me inspired to do something. Not to copy them, but to do something. Going to a museum, I don't get to go nearly enough, but going to a museum can really inspire you. Uh, Travels, people say, "Oh, you're going to Greece. You're going to come back and be." I wasn't. Greece was beautiful and I loved it, but it didn't inspire my painting.
Right.
I didn't use a whole lot of blue and white because of it.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Now the one on the left, there's a lot going on in this painting. You know, you've got a face there and it's divided in the middle there, and you got a light side and a dark side.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
that would definitely be a Picasso influence.
uh-huh.
And other artists that do faces, they do, and it's many times I'll do them, and like one side of the face will be green, and the other side will be yellow, or you know, I don't try and do flesh tones necessarily. So sometimes I do, sometimes, and even if I'm using the flesh tones, I won't color in it.
Right.
So
yeah.
Does that one also have? It's really small, so I'm having hard.
I'm sure it is on your tablet, but this one on the left, you know, it has a lot of maybe floral. I mean, there's like leaves around the ears that you know, it almost looks like cherries in the forehead. I'm just guessing, but you know, it might be some almost like looks like lemons at the top. I'm just you know, just looking at it. I'm not sure, but I'm just you know, the thing that I like about the face is, you know, you've got some eyebrows, you got some big eyelashes on the left side and none on the right. You know, you've got it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I love the colors.
Yeah. Another artist that I didn't really mention is Matisse, whose work I like, and one thing I like about Matisse is he does a background, and there may be a bed or a vase or something, and I just did some recently that incorporated some background to them, not just the face.
Okay.
That one on the right, I posted it on Instagram, and somebody bought it the next day.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah.
Here's a couple of you in your studio. Well, one's in your studio there, it looks like, the one on the right for sure.
Yeah.
And got a huge painting there. And it looks like you're using a lot of it looks like maybe a stencil and some other things that are going on in that particular. Yeah.
With spray paint.
Okay.
I didn't mention I use spray paint. And I will spray it directly. I'll spray it on top of acrylic paint and let it crack and run and do all sorts of things. I love the mistakes that are made with all different paints and water and just mixing things together. It's awesome.
Yeah. Now, the one on the left I added in there. Tell me about that one. Where's that at? Is that at a gallery that you were?
That's my studio.
Is that outside in front of your studio there? Okay.
Studio.
Okay.
I buy it. I believe that was part of a photo shoot. There was a photo shoot for Atlanta Homes of my studio. And I think that was one of the shots. I know that one of me painting at the easel was.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah. Okay.
My Airbnb and my studio were featured in Atlanta Homes magazine.
Oh, how neat is that?
Yeah,
That's great. Yeah.
and that came from Instagram.
Really? Okay.
A scout saw in the Airbnb in the kitchen there is a large backsplash behind the stove, not behind the sink. That is one of my paintings.
Oh, really? Wow.
The cabinets have glass doors and no backs to them, and they're mounted on this. It's a board.
Uh-huh.
Did collage and painting on it, and I posted it, and somebody saw it, and I said, I need to make a trip to Macon. So that's how that happened.
That is so unique. Yeah. I'm going to have to plan a trip up to Macon to come to your studio. Yeah, for sure.
You're welcome.
All right. We'll do it. All right. Tell us a little bit about the one on the right. So you're doing some sculpting here? What's going on?
The one on the right, there again, I'm having a hard time seeing it. There's a glare behind me. Oh, I didn't know you had that one. Okay. Yeah. Yes, that's for the show.
Okay.
Make an art show.
Okay.
And that is not
a little teaser. Okay. All right.
That is not new to me. Matter of fact, both of those are going to be in the show. The one on the left is the plywood. The one on the right, I have done some smaller ones for a gallery in Atlanta that were wall hung. And she said to me, Joe, I want an exclusive on any of these you do. And
oh, wow.
Sold them quickly. But this one I started maybe 4 years ago. And it was so time consuming. I had a helper helping me do it. I decided where everything was going, and he applied plaster to the parts, and then it was just too time consuming. It was the plaster that people make cast out of.
Oh, okay.
It just, I said, so I dropped it. And then I saw something again, I think it was on Instagram, about a product called micro cement. And it's used in bathrooms, on furniture, and it's a lightweight cement. And I thought, this is the way to go. And so I ordered it, had the same friend that was helping come in and help us mix it. And because it kind of wanted to harden quickly, and we both were applying it at the same time. We ran out. It had come from England.
Oh.
The way I could get it in time for the show. Part of this was already plaster. So we decided to finish the whole thing with a coat of plaster. And then he spray painted it for me. I've never used a paint sprayer. So he spray painted it, and I used a milk paint because I wanted it to be flat.
Right.
But do you know what it's made out of?
It looks like styrofoam.
Yeah. The TV.
Carton. Yeah, I was thinking some type of packing styrofoam, some sort. Yeah.
It's all styrofoam core.
Yeah. Wow.
With a hard exterior.
Well, I won't be throwing away the styrofoam that comes out of the boxes now. So you got oh, wow. I have thrown away so much of that, and I thought, wow, gosh, I could create something out of that. You got me inspired, Joe. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Like I said, the other one is the, I'm looking at it right now here. You see how aged that plywood is?
Yes. Yeah. I see that. Mm-hmm.
And then on top of it, it's just all paper that came in packaging. And then there are a couple of paper towels that I had used to wipe paint, and it was on the floor, and it had some color, and this had, and I said, oh, this would be great. This needs some color. So that went right on there. And it's all sealed.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. Both pieces are great creativity,
Mounted
both
on
pieces.
cradled, a cradled panel, I think is what you call it. Birch, maybe birch panel.
Okay. Yeah. These are the last two that we have here. Let's talk a little bit about these.
Oh, there again, you get another sneak peek.
Sneak peek. I'm teasing people. And guys, you see this, you got to come out August the 7th, Macon Arts Alliance.
All cardboard.
That's all cardboard?
Cardboard. And it's right here behind me on the mantle.
That's amazing.
And of course, it's got paint on it. That's the only thing that's not recycled. And that's 48 by 48.
Oh, wow.
And the other one is just more typical of the others paintings that I do.
Right.
That are people really like for their homes.
Yeah. I think that one on the left, that one on the left, and the first one we showed on the left with the blues, light blues and whites and reds are probably two of my favorite.
Those are the
pieces
like you put over your sofa. Or your mantle. The one on the right is really a dramatic piece. It could be a real focal point.
Right.
But it to me, it lends itself much more contemporary, much more industrial or commercial. It'd be great in a commercial building.
Yes. Yeah. Those are great pieces. And just a little teaser for everybody, because the show's coming up, and gosh, 3 weeks, I guess, a little less than 3 weeks.
Yeah.
There at the Macon Arts Alliance. So folks, you need to come out and see these in person. What we see on this video and the podcast, and the pictures don't do justice. Never. Right. Okay. So you have to see it in person, because these are big pieces, and you get the full effect when you see it in person. So
and those pictures are all done with the iPhone. So
yeah. The camera never captures the lighting, the color, the texture, never. So.
And that brings me to a point too, like Jackson Pollock. People who see it said that, like, that you got to see one in life,
right?
And I think I've seen it several, but one was actually in Venice, and it was the Guggenheim in Venice, and it was a palazzo that had been converted to all an art gallery of her collection. And to see a Pollock right there in front of you is amazing. You can really appreciate it, where I know so many people don't. But he was the first one to do that,
Yeah. And you mentioned something about getting inspiration and seeing others' artwork, and that's so true. I mean, we do get inspiration, not that we're going to copy it or anything like that, but it may trigger something that it's like, I might be able to do something similar to that, or I've been wanting to do something similar to that. And maybe it gives you an idea of how you might approach that particular painting.
Right.
Yeah.
And so many people think that what I do is so easy. It's easy until you actually try to do one.
No, I was looking at some of that stuff and I thought, oh, that's not easy.
Just
It's
the
not
other,
easy.
we
Yeah.
were at Oliver's, and an artist walked over to speak to me who does beautiful work, beautiful portraits, and it's just amazing how great they are. And I say, oh my gosh, I wish I could do what you. She said, I wish I could do what you do. I cannot do it.
Yeah.
I know people that it's hard for them to transition
Yeah.
to abstracts if
Right.
they haven't been doing them. And
Right.
it's not, I can't do what she does. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewing audience about your art journey and what you've got going on and what the future holds for you in the next several months or years down the road?
Well, I would like to share where my art is.
Sure.
That would be one thing. I'm at Previews on Forsyth Road in Macon. I'm in and out of Macon Arts because they have a revolving thing.
Right.
I'm in, this is a store on East Andrews called Swoops in Buckhead.
Okay.
And I don't know whether you've noticed in looking at my work, I paint for the public. Is that that's maybe a bad thing? That's really not. Swoops mostly has black and whites, dark. The whole store is that way. And browns and neutrals. And so I'll paint a painting specifically for that store. It's still my painting.
Right.
I still love doing it. But Michelangelo did it for the church.
Right.
I'm not sure that I'm not comparing myself to Michelangelo, but it's part of what you do because that's what sells.
Yes.
I'm in a store in Highlands, and I've been with her a very long time. C.K. Swan, Highlands, North Carolina. And there, I tend to do things more colorful. Just recently, she said to me, she preferred to not have things too white. I hadn't really thought about it. She said, but the people up here tend to like things that the white not be pure white.
Right.
So I thought, okay, I can handle that. So she especially liked one painting that I had done that was very colorful. And then I put a brown glaze over the whole thing. She loved that. It was just a watered down brown glaze that I painted on and then just wiped the whole thing down and leaving it toned down.
Right.
So, and then I'm in a shop called The Watershed, which is in Cashers. And her shop is mostly natural. She is a photographer, photographs feathers, birds' nests, eggs, that sort of thing. Has a lot of natural materials. So there I tend to bring her more natural things.
Right.
Little color. So those are fun. They're all fun for me to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, good. Now I'm going to include
Public.
yeah.
But then I do things that I'm wondering who in the world is going to buy this. Who would want this in their house? And yeah, it sells. Especially
Yeah.
art, the real art lovers, not somebody that's just wanting to decorate their house.
Right.
Like that one with the cardboard, I could see an art collector buying something like that.
Right.
As opposed to decorating their living room.
Right. Well, I'm going to include in what I call the show notes or description on the video or the podcast, your Facebook and Instagram handle so that people can reach out to you if they want to do that. And possibly, if it's okay with you, I could include your email address. Somebody could, reach out via email and said, hey, I saw some of your work and wanted to talk to you about maybe doing a commission or coming to your studio and seeing something, so I want to help promote you there.
Come to my studio.
But I have
be by appointment only because I'm here when I'm here.
Okay. Yeah. Well, by appointment. Yeah. All right. I got some random.
A car out front, there's a good chance I'm here. So
Okay. I got some random questions for you.
Okay.
All right. Not necessarily art related, but what's your favorite holiday and why?
Oh, as a child, it was Halloween.
Halloween. Okay.
Not so much now. I guess I like Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Time to get together with family, friends, eat some good food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were in Spain on Thanksgiving Day, and that made me realize how much I missed Thanksgiving. And we had Chinese.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
We had Chinese food.
Okay. All right. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
A superpower?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd like to fly.
Me too. And time travel.
Oh, no, I'm talking about flying through the air.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to do that too, but I'd love to do time travel. I'd like to go back in time, forward in time. Yeah.
I don't have them anymore, and I really wish I did. I used to have the most wonderful dreams where I was flying. And I could stand on the ground and just shoot up in the air and fly around. And they were so wonderful. That's got to be it.
Okay.
If you can get it out,
yeah,
I'll give you a painting.
All right. What's your favorite color?
I love orange. In a coral orange. We had a house that I painted coral on the outside, a Victorian.
Okay.
And I do love blue.
Blue?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite color.
Blue and orange are great together.
Yeah. All right, last question is, and I think you already have this and how you've described your studio, but what would be your dream studio? If you could have unlimited resources, what would it be?
Well, I would want something even larger.
Okay.
And that would pretty much be it. It would be just to be larger and be more. I actually would like to be more organized. I don't know where anything is here.
Yeah.
I still don't know where my tape measure is. It's under something. And I'm having to use a ruler. It's here. It's
yeah.
right, but I'll find it.
Yeah. More space to get organized. Yeah, that's always been a good answer from a lot of artists, being able to put things in their proper place so you know where they're at when you need them. Don't have to go hunt and
Right.
track them down. So
Yeah.
I tell you, it's been great talking to you today and getting to know you better. And I look forward to this show that's coming up at the Macon Arts Alliance. Put another plug in for that, folks. It's August the 7th, going to be part of the first Friday there in downtown Macon, Georgia. So encourage everybody to come out to support Joe and other artists that are going to be there as well, because it's a joint show. But do want to thank everybody for tuning in to another episode of Artist Stories of Middle Georgia. If you're out on YouTube watching this, please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps the channel grow. Share it with your friends. And also, if you're watching this on Facebook, follow us on Facebook, become a friend on Facebook, and share it with your friends and family and other artists that are out there. But until next time, take care, everybody. And Joe, take care. Thanks again. And we'll catch you guys in the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Artist Stories of Middle Georgia. We really appreciate our audience and would love to hear about other artist stories you'd like for us to share. Please email us or leave a comment. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Please like and subscribe.